Hello, my name is Shirley, and I am a 31-year-old office worker. A year ago, I married a man named Mason. We had met through a blind date, and after a year and a half of dating, he proposed. At the time, I was swept up in the idea of settling down and building a family, so even though it felt a little rushed, I accepted. Looking back now, I realize I should have paused, thought harder, and weighed things more carefully before saying yes. Only a few months into our marriage, Mason abruptly announced that he was changing jobs. I was caught off guard. Why so suddenly? I asked, trying to understand. He told me that his old job didn't give him enough freedom to use his full abilities. What shocked me even more was that he had already resigned without even discussing it with me. Thankfully, he managed to land another job quickly, but the new position came with a lower salary. At first, I wasn't too worried. I was working as well, and together, our income was enough to cover rent, bills, and car payments. But then Mason started pressuring me to quit my job. He would insist that his new career would take off soon, that his salary would rise in no time. But there were no promises, no written offers, just vague words. I explained to him that quitting my job under such uncertain circumstances was simply impossible. We depended on my income. Then one evening, Mason shocked me even more. He tossed divorce papers in front of me with a cold, almost daring look. "You know I'm ready for this whenever," he said, as if marriage was something he could discard at will. I was stunned and tried to calm him down, urging him to think before saying something so reckless. Instead of responding, he just walked into his room and shut the door. That night, as I lay awake, I couldn't help but replay all of his words and actions. Was this really the man I had promised to spend my life with? Our marriage had barely begun, and already, it felt like I was living under constant pressure. The issue of my job never went away. Mason kept asking, again and again, "When are you going to quit?" Each time, I told him the same thing, not until his salary increased and we could live comfortably on one income. But his salary never increased. A whole year passed, and yet, the same question kept haunting me. Eventually, I realized his obsession wasn't about me at all, it was about appearances. During visits to his parents' home, I noticed the way he behaved. Mason would act overly concerned for his mother, Martha, showering her with sweet words like, "I just want to make life easier for you." And every time, his eyes would flicker toward me, almost like a warning, like I was supposed to step in and play the dutiful wife. He started suggesting that I should be the one visiting his mother every day. "If one of us were home, you could check on Mom," he told me casually, as though I had endless free time. The irony was that Martha was perfectly healthy and active. She even had a part-time job and spent much of her free time with friends. She didn't need me, yet Mason made it sound like I was neglecting my role as a wife if I didn't serve her. I finally asked him directly, "What exactly do you expect me to do? Your mom doesn't need taking care of." He listed off small chores, housework, errands, grocery shopping. None of these tasks required me to give up a stable career. It was clear he just wanted me to appear useful in front of his parents. "But your mom has her own life, doesn't she? She's busy with work and her friends," I pointed out. His reply shocked me. "That's not the point. I want her to see you as considerate and devoted. If you stay home, she'll think I married the perfect wife." That was when the truth sank in. Mason didn't care about me or even about his mother's actual needs. He cared about the image of having a traditional wife who existed to serve his family while he played the role of the proud son. When I asked why he didn't take care of his parents himself, his face twisted with disgust. "That's not my role," he snapped. "I give you these instructions so my mom will know you're a good wife. Do you realize how kind I am to you?" His words cut deep. Kind? Was it kindness to reduce me to a servant in my own marriage, to strip me of independence and call it love? With every visit to my in-laws, the pattern repeated. Mason would assign me tasks, tidy the house, run to the store, serve his parents, as if I were invisible unless I was performing, and when I refused, he would sulk, glare, or accuse me of being cold-hearted. One evening, I finally reached my breaking point. I sat him down and said, "We need to talk about our future." He rolled his eyes. "What are you even trying to say?" "I'm tired, Mason, tired of you asking me to quit my job every week, tired of you pushing me to take care of Martha like it's my only purpose in life. This isn't what marriage should be." His response was as expected. "Why are you fed up with that? You're my wife, and it's your duty to care for your husband's parents." "Duty?" I shot back. "Why should all the responsibility fall on me? They're your parents, shouldn't you take the lead?" "No way," he snapped, his voice sharp with contempt. That's not my responsibility, it's the wife's job. Are you the kind of person who doesn't care about family? I stared at him in disbelief. Mason, you're disappointed in me? No, I'm disappointed in you. You don't want a partner, you want a maid to serve your mother and boost your image. That's not what I signed up for when I married you. At that moment, I realized something. Mason wasn't going to change. He was trapped in his outdated beliefs, and no amount of reason or compromise would make him see me as an equal partner. I looked Mason in the eyes and asked firmly, "Then let me ask you this, how have you been taking care of my parents? If I asked you to care for them, would you do it?" He stared back blankly, as if I had asked him something outrageous. "What are you saying? Why should a husband take care of his wife's parents?" "So does that mean you'll never look after my parents, now or in the future?" I pressed, trying to show him the obvious double standard. "The husband's parents and the wife's parents are completely different," Mason muttered, his tone dismissive. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Different? What difference does that make? Family is family. Mason, I didn't realize you were this clueless. Honestly, talking to you feels like talking to my old boss, completely rigid and stuck in outdated ideas. His eyebrows furrowed in confusion. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying marriage is about equality. The husband's parents aren't the only ones who matter. If I'm expected to care for yours, then you should care for mine. That's mutual respect." He scoffed, shaking his head. "That's nonsense. Of course my parents come first. That's just the way things are." My heart sank. "So you only prioritize your family by blood? You have no idea how disappointed I am in you. If that's how you see things, then I won't visit your parents anymore." His face darkened instantly. "What? Why would you say that? Enough with this nonsense already," he snapped. "No, Mason, you're the one being ridiculous. You can't demand respect without giving any back." I shot back, my voice trembling but firm. His temper flared. "How dare you talk back like that? My mom was right about you all along. You're a badly behaved wife," he yelled. And then, almost triumphantly, he pulled out a folded piece of paper from his bag. "That's why she gave me this." I froze. "Divorce papers? You already had divorce papers ready?" My voice cracked with disbelief. Mason smirked. "See? I scared you, didn't I? I'm prepared for this anytime, so think twice before running your mouth." With that, he strutted off into his room, leaving me standing there in shock. Unbelievable. He wasn't even ashamed, he looked proud, as if threatening me with divorce made him powerful, and the fact that his mother was behind it only confirmed what I had suspected for months. Mason wasn't acting as a husband, he was his mother's puppet, dancing on strings she pulled tighter each day. But I wasn't going to let them control me. The very next day, after Mason left for work, I took action. I calmly filled out the divorce papers he had handed me and filed them at the city office. As an extra safeguard, I also submitted a notice of non-acceptance of the marriage certificate, preventing Mason from re-registering it behind my back. Then I called my parents. At first, they were shocked, but once I explained the depth of Mason's manipulation, they fully supported my decision. Outraged on my behalf, they immediately offered to help me move. I took a short leave from work, and with their help, we packed up my belongings and relocated everything to their house before Mason could even realize what had happened. For the first time in months, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. Living at my parents' home again gave me a sense of peace I hadn't felt since before my marriage. I reflected on the past year and realized just how much I had sacrificed. Long days at work followed by cooking, cleaning, and laundry, while Mason barely lifted a finger, and on top of all that, he expected me to serve his parents as though my only purpose in life was to be his mother's maid. That evening, Mason called. His tone was sharp, laced with entitlement. "Hello, where are you right now?" "I'm at my parents' house," I said evenly. "Oh, without my permission? And where's all your stuff? Don't tell me you're staying the night." I almost laughed at his ignorance. He thought this was just a temporary spat. "I'm not coming back," I replied firmly. "What are you talking about? Come back here and make me some food," he barked. "Make it yourself," I said, and hung up. Then I blocked his number. But Mason didn't stop. A week later, he arrived at my parents' house, dragging along his mother, Martha, and his father, Liam. The three of them sat across from my parents and me in the living room, tension so thick it was hard to breathe. "How could you do this?" Mason demanded, "leaving without my permission? Do you even know what shame you've caused me?" I met his glare without flinching. Mason, you treated me like a housekeeper, not a wife. I was expected to quit my job, take care of your mother, and obey your every command. Enough is enough. That's not true, Martha cut in sharply. What kind of wife refuses to take care of her husband? You embarrassed my son. My father clenched his fists, ready to explode, but I quickly stepped in. Mason told me himself that it was my duty to quit my job and care for you, Martha, but when I asked if he would do the same for my parents, he laughed at me. He said only his parents matter. That's not marriage, that's slavery. I turned to Liam. Have you heard Mason say these things? Liam's eyes darted between Mason and Martha. Confusion etched on his face. Before he could answer, Mason blurted out, "Fine, I'll admit it, the divorce papers, it was Mom's idea." What? Liam's voice boomed, shocked. Martha flinched. "It's because she has an attitude problem," she stammered, glaring at me. "And you told her that her parents don't matter?" I pressed, refusing to let her wriggle free. Martha's lips curled. "Of course, it's only natural that our side comes first." That was the breaking point. Liam stood abruptly, his face red with fury. "Don't be absurd. I came here thinking my daughter-in-law was being unfair, but now I see the truth. Mason, you're a fool, and you let your mother poison your marriage." He turned to me and bowed his head. "I am deeply sorry for the trouble caused by my son and wife. You did not deserve this treatment." "Liam, you're not at fault," I replied softly, "but thank you for acknowledging what happened." Then I faced Mason, who was visibly sweating now. "The divorce papers you gave me, I've already filed them. We're no longer married." His jaw dropped. "What? You filed them? Without my permission?" I met his shock with calm resolve. "You told me yourself I could file them anytime, and Martha even signed as your witness. So yes, Mason, it's done." Martha went pale. Mason stuttered, lost for words. Liam turned on his son with fury. "You used divorce as a weapon to control your wife? Shameful." Without hesitation, he slapped Mason hard across the face. The sound echoed through the room. Martha gasped. Liam's voice thundered. "From this day forward, you will take responsibility for your own actions. Don't you dare blame this woman for your failures." He turned to me once more. "Please, forgive the pain my son caused you. You did the right thing by leaving him." In the days that followed, Liam kept his word. He forced Mason to hand over the property and assets I was entitled to. Not long after, I learned that Liam had filed for divorce from Martha as well, disgusted by her meddling and cruelty. Later, a colleague of Mason's confirmed what I had already suspected. Mason had quit his old job because he couldn't handle criticism. His arrogance cost him respect at work, just as it had cost him our marriage. Now, I live alone in a cozy apartment I rented with my savings. My career is thriving, and I recently received a promotion. For the first time in a long while, I feel free from manipulation, free from unreasonable demands, free to live life on my own terms. Mason always cared more about appearances than substance. He wanted a trophy wife to please his mother, but what he lost was a partner who was willing to stand beside him. And as for me, I may have walked away from a broken marriage, but I gained something far more important: my independence, my dignity, and the knowledge that I deserve better.